don't forget, and make sure it's recording. Yes. Okay, today I'm super, you guys all know who I am, Heather Roxburgh, Salt Lake City, Utah, with Real Broker and co-owner of Be Epic Marketing with my partner Kat, who's here today. Today I'm really excited because this is probably going to be one of my most favorite guests that we've ever had on the webinar. My very dear friend, Jen Suliafu, if I can say her name right. She is a life coach and kind of a business coach as well. She's been coaching for over a decade now, and I personally started working with her. I got an introduction from a friend
So,
about nine.
this gal,
Hold on, gotta mute. About 9 years ago, and I was just needing something outside of the traditional like business coaching model. I was doing a lot of Tony Robbins work, and one of my friends was going through some stuff in a relationship, and she referred me to Jen. Jen and I started working together. I was trying to get out of marriage and trying to figure out how to do that. And she was just instrumental in my life, and still is, does some really incredible things. So she does private coaching one-on-one, and then she does group coaching. But she's going to bring a total different spin to our webinar today. She's going to talk about the energy of the year and just how to live your very best life. So Jen, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm excited to be with all of you babes today. Thank you for having me. Love listening to Greg speak because honestly, what he just talked about is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And that is, we have hard things in life. Like he talked about all the challenges that they're dealing with out there in California. But then it brought such a smile to my face when he ended with, but my grandkids are doing great. It's a journey in life, right? We have ups and downs. We have highs and lows. We are magical, powerful, spiritual, omnipotent beings in a human body. So he spoke to that humanness, right? That's the challenges. And then he spoke to the love, which is who we really are. So we're both of those sides. And that's what we're going to go into today. Today, my number one goal with all of you is this. And that is to remind you to hold up a mirror for you of bringing it back. We're pulling out of, we're going to unplug for 1 hour to plug into the magic. We're going to unplug from the world for 1 hour. So I do ask for your attention. We are so distracted in today's world. So we can be emailing, we can have another chat up, we could be, looking at our texts. If you pay attention for 1 hour, I promise I will bring you some information that maybe you've never heard before, or maybe it is just a powerful reminder, but it will help plug you in to the magic and help remind you of the truth of who you really are. And that's my number one goal. Okay.
Yep.
Also listening to Gary speak was really lit up my heart because I know how powerful Heather is. I've worked with her for many years. She is so dear to me. And when he spoke about the effect that she had on his daughter or on his life, right? Whether it was your daughter listening, I'm not sure, but it was profound for him. And so those are the moments that matter in life. And that's what I want us to plug into today. So get your pens, your papers, because I'm going to talk to you today about reminding you the truth of who you really are. So I'm going to share some things with you today that can change your life forever. And if you have questions or comments, put them in the chat. We'll get to as many as possible. I'll try to answer everything. But yes, I am a life coach. Okay. I call myself that because I don't know what else to call myself. Some people have been like, Jen, you need a different title, a more like fancy schmancy title. I'm a pretty simple gal and I help people with their life. How do I do that? Because my life was a total wreck. It was a mess. I never planned on like, hey, when I grow up, I'm going to be a life coach. My life was so far off into drama, and I had gotten really, really lost in my own life. And I got to a place where I couldn't stand to stay the same anymore. And I came to one of those come to Jesus moments with myself where it was like, hey, sister, you got to wake up, or your life, you're going to just keep creating this chaos in your life. And so I got really committed to looking at myself in the mirror and seeing where I could shift and where I could change. And I got committed to doing the work. And over time, I started to apply some of these things that I'm going to teach you or go over with you or remind you today. And I started to apply these things to my life, and my life started to change little by little, day by day, shift by shift. And eventually I looked back on my life, and my entire life had changed. And I had a lot of people that had witnessed these changes in my life. They saw where Jen was super messed up, and then they saw her like start to, you know, get her footing, stand a little taller. They saw and felt this shift in me. And so they started to come to me and ask me questions. And I would just share, because it was so exciting to me. And I would just share this information that I had learned and was learning. And they would apply it to their life, and their life would start to shift and change. And it was so, so exciting. So after doing this for about 10 years of working on these things and implementing them into my life, and then sharing them with others, I decided to give up my career, which I was a sales rep. I was a pharma sales rep. And I decided to finally close that door and jump into this world full time. And it felt a little bit like a pipe dream to be like, okay, I'm going to open my doors for healing. Come on in, people, and let's just, let's do this life coaching thing, because I didn't know really what I was doing as far as business goes, but I was really excited about the message and the information I had learned, because I know it changes lives. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. And I live for seeing people wake up to remember the truth of who they are and create a fabulous life. There's nothing that's more exciting to me. So I have a question for you. I want to get just a little temperature check with the group here. So get your chat fingers ready and put in the chat. Do you know about manifesting? Do you know about the law of attraction? Do you know that you are a creator? Okay, let me know in the chat. Those are all the same thing, really, but let me know who knows that. I think, Heather, I think we have someone that needs muted. So yeah, let me know if you've never heard of it. I want to see that too. Okay. So put that in the chat. Let's see. I love this. Heard it in theory, but never practiced it. Okay. Yeah. If anyone is on here that I've coached and they say no, I'm going to be like, uh-oh, you better get your booty back to me. So, okay, very good. Okay. So this is so fun for me to see. I overdose in it. I love that. That's so good. Love the power of manifesting. Yes. Okay. Do we have anyone that says no? Come on, be brave. So over the last 10 years, okay, heard of it, haven't done it. Okay, thank you for your honesty. Yes, I've been practicing manifesting my best future for a few years now after going through huge challenges in my life. Okay, so good. So for me, I came upon this information when it was back in 2006. I'll never forget. I remember where I was. I remember it's like time stopped. And I had a friend who her husband handed me this book. He said, Jen, I think you need to read this. He probably was like, I need to throw her a bone, right? So he handed me this book. I went home and I remember I had it for a few days and I sat down on my sofa, I cracked it open, I started reading it, and I was like, wait a minute, is this for real? So, law of attraction manifesting is the idea that we create our own life. Okay. And when I opened this up and I read that information, it was like, wait a second, are you saying that I am the creator of all of this? That I have had something to do with the things that have happened in my life? That can be good and also hard, to take responsibility for some of the gnarly things that we've created. And one thing I do find is people that get into manifesting and the law of attraction, I'm using them, they're basically the same thing. Okay. So I use both of those interchangeably, but they want to take credit for the good things, but no, not the bad things. We don't want credit for that, right? And the truth is, we are co-creators with the divine, with the universe, whatever you want to call it. We are co-creators. And we are the one here in human form. Kind of think of it like a video game where it's like you're the main player in the avatar, right? And then you also have support on the other side. But based on what you think, what you visualize, what you say, what you feel, and ultimately what you believe are going out into a pathway and creating your reality. So, so over the past 10 years, I have coached several hundreds of real estate agents across the nation. And one thing is for sure, it comes down to this one thing, not the market, not the politics, not the time of year. It comes down to what that specific person is creating, period. Now you might go, oh, BS. What about last year? What about the year before? I have been coaching with agents who had their best year yet last year. What is the difference? And I believe wholeheartedly the difference is the stories they plugged into and the things that they focused on and the stories they swam in throughout the year. When you learn how to use the law of attraction, everything changes in your life. It doesn't matter how gnarly the past looks or what so-called mistakes you think you've made. It doesn't matter what is happening in your life at that time or what's happened in the past. If you're ready to face it and move forward, if you're ready to look at your stories and start to learn these practices, your life will change starting now, today. So it's so exciting to me. I love to see souls' journeys and what they've been like. I find it fascinating. And I know for sure that anyone can grow, they can progress, they can change and wake up and start living a life beyond their wildest dreams. It's so fun to me to see. So some people will say to me, okay, Jen, I know you don't know for sure if this will work for me. And I go, yes, I do. In fact, it's already working for you, darling, already. And it has been your entire life. So when I ask that question, hey, do you know about the law of attraction? It's like, yes, but maybe I'm not using it. Here's the truth. Here's the truth. If you're a human on the planet, you are already creating your life. You've been doing it your entire life. You just don't know. It's like saying, hey, how often do you use the law of gravity? It's like, duh, right? If you're a human on planet Earth, you use it every second, every minute of every day. It's a universal law. And the law of manifesting is the same. It's a universal law. You can't see it. You might not fully understand how it works. You just know that, like with the law of gravity, you can't see it. You don't know how it works, maybe, but you just know it does, right? So we're these magical, spiritual, omnipotent humans or beings in this human outfit is what we are. So some people are really rooted in their humanness and they don't know that they're spiritual. Some people go too far over into la la land. Okay, we got both, right? We got spiritual. People are really, really rooted in that. They get super into like the news and things going on. And then we got people over here in la la land, spirituality. I've been in both for sure, right? Neither are ideal. In fact, when I first found this information, my husband was over here in this humanness. He's a very logical dude. And I was with him there. And then I started to learn this stuff and I went over here into La La Land, man. I was on cloud nine. I was like, oh my gosh, this is magical. And I was driving him crazy. He was like, hello, come back to planet Earth. Maybe you've met somebody like that before. Neither of these are ideal. We want to be here. Okay. We're humans. We're playing a part. And so we're using our mind and our heart to create. So I'm going to tell you how this works, and I'm going to give you some tactical things to start applying to your life. So make sure you have a pen and a paper ready. But I want you to envision that you have this invisible projector on your forehead. Okay. And whatever it is that you are projecting out is the movie of your life. And you've got all of these actors, these people, places, and things coming in, and you're the projector. So if you don't like what you're seeing, this is the answer right here. You. I don't like saying you're the problem. I like saying you're the solution because you really are. But you are, I mean, I realized I was the problem, right? There were things in my life that I was creating I didn't want to take responsibility for. I was pointing my finger a lot at my husband, and I realized he was reacting to what I was projecting out. And as I started to change my self-talk about me, and I started to change my stories, everything changed. He started to show up in a different way. I have a different marriage with the same man. Trippy, right? So, so imagine, I like to use this analogy. Many of you have probably seen The Wolf of Wall Street. If you have, maybe shake your head. Okay. If you haven't, that's okay. Many of you have probably seen the movie The Notebook. Yeah. Okay. All right. Greg's like, nope, never seen it. It's a good chick flick. It's a good one. But the two, there's a main character husband in one and a main character husband in the other. They are very, very opposite. And I like to use this analogy of pretend you are in a theater and you've got the movie reel and you're the projector and you've got the movie reel of The Wolf of Wall Street in your mind, right? And it's projected out onto the screen and you go, no, I wanted to watch The Notebook. That's what I wanted to see. That's what I wanted to experience. And so you get up and you move from theater one to theater two, but you never remove the film and remember your head's the projector, right? And you're sitting at the back of the theater. You can go from theater 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 30. It doesn't matter. You are going to continue to see The Wolf of Wall Street until you take that movie out and put The Notebook in. You have to change your story. You have to change what you are projecting out. So here's how it works. Our power to create, once we start to understand this, every single area of our life changes. So imagine, let's pretend, so here's the thing. What people sometimes have asked, like, well, okay, wait a second. If this is true, if you can just project something out, then how come I don't say, hey, I'm a multimillionaire, and then poof, there's millions in my lap? How come that doesn't work? It's because there's more to it, and this life experience is divinely created in our favor. Because although that sounds fun and cool, that would be very scary if it was that instantaneous, because we definitely have had some gnarly thoughts in our life, right? So imagine like that you're driving down the road in a snowstorm and all of a sudden you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. It doesn't happen so instantaneous because it's very dangerous. So that's a good thing, but it's a process. There's more to it. So the thought that you have, that's just the seed. That's the infancy. So imagine a tomato plant, okay? Imagine that you you plant some seeds in a tomato or in the soil. And the very next day you wake up and you go and you look at the soil and you go, this is stupid. This doesn't work. There's no tomatoes. You would never do that because you realize it's a process, right? You plant the seeds in the soil and then you need some other things to get it to grow. You need time, you need water, TLC, sunlight, sometimes nutrients in that soil. And eventually, over time, that seed starts to take root, pops out of the soil, and eventually you will have ripe tomatoes to consume. Okay. So imagine this tomato plant. Okay. So the seed is your thought. And eventually, if you think a thought, it turns into visualization. So I could say to you right now, don't think of a pink monkey, or do think of a pink monkey. Immediately, you're going to start to visualize a pink monkey because this is connected. Okay. If you think a thought long enough and visualize it, it's going to start to be your story that you speak, either quietly or out loud. It's going to be part of your story that you say, I'm this, I'm that, this person's this person's that. You start to tell a story about your life. Okay. Eventually, you tell a story long enough, then it comes down here to your heart, your emotions start to get pulled in, and now you're starting to pull in that feeling. All right, let's ask a question here. Have you ever been in a fight with somebody in your car that you were by yourself, okay? You got so into this fight that you maybe even started crying? Has this ever happened to you? Or am I just crazy? Because I've had a lot of fights with my husband in the car, and I win every time because he's not in the car. But there have been so many times where I would start crying. I would get really involved in it. In fact, I found 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I got really serious about my life and changing it, I found this was a habit I was doing. No wonder I had so many fights with my husband, because I was creating. My movie I was projecting out was not what I wanted, but that's what I was asking for. I don't do that anymore. In fact, if I catch myself, because I still have to catch myself at times creating something I don't want, I have to push pause on that and reframe it. But eventually you feel something enough, then it turns into the last step, which is a belief. And the belief is where it shows up in physical form. That's where you get those ripe tomatoes to consume, where it comes in physical form. And so it's a process. And so going back to that multi-millions, can you have that? Yes, of course, but you have to get it to where the belief and what you're asking for line up. Now, here's the cool thing. The mind cannot conceive whether something is truly happening or it's just your imagination. So, when they've done studies on this too, it's super cool, where you have, they've taken different sports teams. They took 3 different basketball teams, and they had one actually practice their free throws in the gym physically. One just did this in their mind in like a meditation room, the second group, and the third group did nothing. They didn't practice in their mind or physically. And at the end of the trial, they took them all into the gym to see what the results were. And the ones that practice physically and in their mind, they were the same. And then the other one that didn't neither was way down here. Wow, super, super cool, right? And so the mind cannot conceive whether it's real or not. And so you are creating at all times. You gotta know that. So with that being said, think about this. Have you ever wondered why some people have had several failed marriages? Or why other people have a really hard time with jobs or with finances? Or how someone has the same type of experience over and over and over again. I am able to see people's patterns by doing one-on-one coaching and hearing like what their life journey has been like behind closed doors, things that most people don't hear. There are patterns in people's energetic fields, which is AKA their story, their movie that they're projecting out. I had one woman who has been held at gunpoint 3 times by 3 different people in her life. What? That's never happened to me one time. Okay. So that's very unique and odd. So it probably happened to her once. She got stuck in fear and kept envisioning that thing happening, which called it in again and called it in a 3rd time. Bananas, right? It's because what they tell themselves every day. Boom, Kim, 100%. So it's not because somebody isn't worthy of having a beautiful, respectful, loving, honoring marriage. I've worked with a lot of women who have had 4 marriages and they don't feel worthy. Well, yes, they are worthy. They are so worthy, right? And so it's just a story that they've had in their energy field. That's it. And so people will ask, do you teach like what with this, like what areas does it change or what does it help with? Everything. Okay. Think of a tree trunk and it's got all of these branches. And the trunk is your belief about who you are and what you're creating. And then you've got all these branches. You've got finances, you've got relationships, you've got friendships. Have you ever met someone, and maybe this is you, where you have had like, maybe you're a woman and you've had really hard time with friends stabbing you in the back, or have like a wound with women not being trustworthy for you, or maybe a man, like it doesn't matter, men, women. But over and over and over again, we will have these experiences based off of our stories. And most of our stories that we're carrying around, get this is super crazy and cool. But they started when you were in your mother's womb. 3rd trimester in your mother's womb was when your subconscious mind, which is the driver of what we create and what our beliefs are, was being developed. That's when it started being developed, was in the 3rd trimester of your mother's womb. And you were bathing in your mother's beliefs and her emotions and her stories. You were accepting them all as truth. Some of you are going, uh-oh, thinking of your mother's beliefs, right? Then you were born. And for the first 8 years of your life, imagine, like, let's think of it as a filing cabinet. The filing cabinet was wide open, and stories and beliefs and information was just flying in. Okay. And up until you were about 8 years old, then that filing cabinet started to close, and eventually about eight, it was closed. And your belief system was set. Now, does that mean, oh no, there's nothing you can do? No, you have major, major power to totally shift your life, but you must do the work to change those belief systems. Otherwise, you're basically walking around as your 8-year-old and before belief systems, and not much has changed. And as far as money beliefs, I mean, think of, all of us had ancestors that went through the Depression, or so many times I work with people and they have a lot of money, but they still have like this, it's like, gosh, I don't know why I have this fear. You know what I mean? I have this underlying fear. And we have to identify those beliefs and then work on those. So, all right. Every human is here to learn about their power to create, and to learn through contrast, and then turn around and experience higher levels. So it's not like none of these things that people have gone through are bad. Like, if we can learn from them and we can have powerful experiences from them and learn, then it helps us with so much perspective. It's just like when Greg was talking in the beginning, he brought it back to that perspective. Those moments when people are going through something really hard, when they're losing their homes, when they're, faced with a scary situation, it's a hand that reaches in and shakes you and reminds you the truth of what really matters in life. Right? So even if we've gone through hard things, it can give us so much value. One of the hardest things I ever went through was going through a divorce with two babies. I had just had a newborn baby and I had a toddler, and I went through a really hard time in my life. But guess what? It was one of the best gifts of my life, because it helped me have a new perspective. For once I did have the marriage I wanted, once I did have the relationship I wanted, it gave me so much perspective to appreciate that. So, so it's good. It doesn't mean that we're trying to get away from ever having any experiences that we would think of as bad. And also, when you start to go through and learn how to create and get really good at calling things in that you want, this doesn't mean you're not going to ever have painful moments in your life. You're a human on planet Earth. You're going to go through things, but you will be able to navigate them with more ease, because you will understand yourself and your life more, and you'll be more full of love and magic. It'll be exciting. So I'm going to give you some tools today, two tools that are going to completely rock your life. I've been studying this for over 2 decades. I'll give you these tools, but I want you to start experimenting with them. Don't just let this be a moment where you write down some notes and then you leave it. Like, start practicing these things, implement them, and then you got to let me know of what the wins are. I want to hear from you. So find me on social media or reach out to me somehow and let me know, because I live for these stories. It's so exciting to me. But here's the thing, okay? 3 steps to creating your life. So the number 1 step is you must uncover your current story. Uncover your current story. Our stories are sneaky. They're super sneaky. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I get on, like, I'll start coaching with a client and we get on and I ask them if they know about manifesting. And they're like, yeah, I've gone to all these seminars. I've read many books. I know all about it. Yet they're really stuck in certain areas of their life. Why is that? It's because when you are so close to something, if you have this beautiful mural painted on the wall and you walk up to it and you stick your nose on the wall, you can't see the picture. You're too close. And this happens in our life when we are so close to the situation. Sometimes it's hard for us to see what our story is when we're just rooted in it, right? But when you uncover the story, that is, I believe that's 90% of the work. I think that's the hardest thing, is to uncover our story. It's the hardest part, but once you got it, now you can rock and roll, baby. Okay? So here's a clue though. Here's a clue. How do we know what our stories are? What is showing up in physical form? What's showing up? That is always going to tell us what our story is. Okay? So I'll just give you, let's use this as an example. So let's say that we'll use real estate, for example. Okay. Somebody has a belief that nobody's buying homes right now because of the interest rates. Okay. If I have that story, what's going to happen to my business most likely? Yep, that's right. Gates are going to close. Nobody's buying homes. No one, right? So I'm not going to be putting myself out there as much because I'm just going to be sitting there waiting on the sidelines, most likely, right? And so it's going to, I have to uncover that story because, oh my gosh, if I have that story, do I want that story as a real estate agent and that's my livelihood? No, 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 right? And so if I believe that, and that's what I've been telling myself, I have to uncover that. Once you got that, baby, 90% of the job is done. Then you go to step number 2. And that is, what do you want instead? So simple. So tell me in the chat, many of you are real estate agents, probably all of you, yeah? Write in the chat, what story do you want instead? So if your story was no one's buying homes because of the interest rates in the market, what do you want instead? Don't be shy. I'll wait. Abundance. Yes. A story of abundance. Love it. My phone is ringing off the hook. I'm swamped. Oh, Susie. Music to my ears. Love it. And you know that is some people's reality, right? Have you seen anybody? Have you looked around at certain agents and been like scratching your head like, what the heck is going on with them? How do they have that? That I am worthy of making the money I desire and not the story I have told myself before that I can't make money. Beautiful. Look at you all creating. I love it. You're creating the new story right there. Working with the best people and clients. Yes. Flourishing. I love it. People want my help. Okay. So, so good. Have an abundance of business due to my deep connections with clients. Boom. Okay. So that's the news. That you must go to that next step. Okay. Third and final step. Tell the new story until it shows up. This is where consistency comes in. Tell the new story until it shows up. Okay, so let's recap. Number 1, by the way, these are 3 steps to creating your life. Okay, number 1, you uncover your current story. This is 90% of the work right there. It's the hardest part. You get that done. Number 2, what do you want instead? And number 3, you tell the new story until it shows up. This is where a lot of people drop the ball. Okay. I mean, think of New Year's, right? It's the beginning of the year. this happens so much where people go, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to work out. I'm going to the gym every morning. I'm doing this. Have you guys heard of Quitters Friday? Have you heard of this? It's the second Friday of the year. Okay. People drop the ball. They're not consistent enough. You can't work out for a day, a week, and then stop and expect your body to completely transform. You can't eat healthy for one day and then go back to eating a bunch of junk food and expect your body to be healthy, right? You must be consistent until you get the results you want, then you maintain. Okay. But in the beginning, get very focused, be very like honed in and focused on this. So take the time, write it out, read it daily until your life starts to shift. Okay. So the second part of what I want to tell you before we end today, this is very, very important, is I must tell you about your wand, darling. I told you you're a powerful creator. Your word is your wand. And so the two most powerful words in your vocabulary, do you know what it is? Can someone tell me in the chat? What are the two most powerful words in our vocabulary? Whatever you put behind these two powerful words will become your reality. That's it, Angela. I am. I am. Do you know what's trippy? This is kind of cool. But if you were to look up, if you were to search up, what does I am mean? It will say God, which is the ultimate creator, right? And so it's kind of trippy that we say, I am this, I am that all day long, right? And so think about whatever you put behind those two powerful words of a sea of energy rising up to go, the genie is out of the bottle. What do you want? What do you want? And you can ask for whatever you want. And if you say I'm broke, then, and so it is, my love, you can have that. Or I'm wealthy, or I'm rich, or I'm supported, and I'm loved, I'm adored, right? Whatever you put behind those two words will be your reality. They will find you. And they already are your reality. You've been saying them your whole life. And so make sure they are honoring. And here's the thing. It isn't, this is very important. It isn't just what you speak out loud behind I am. It's also the things you say silently to yourself. Your word, your tongue. Think of your tongue as your wand. Whatever you're saying is your wand. And so also whatever you're thinking quietly to yourself, but saying behind I am is your reality. So 3 things to consider with your I ams. Okay. Number 1, focus on what you want. I just heard some of you go, well, duh, Jen. That's right. Focus on what you want. Well, we are hardwired to focus on what we don't want. So you will recognize, if you pay attention to this, you'll see that sometimes you'll see that you're focused on things you don't want. And whatever you yell no to, or you say, no, I don't want that, it's coming closer because you're looking at it. Whatever we focus on comes in and gets bigger. And so if I said, just like I said earlier, don't think of a pink monkey, immediately you focused on a pink monkey. You thought about it. Okay. So instead of, I just had one of my clients write her I ams and send it to me. And one of them was, I am no longer judgmental or judging others. Okay. So think about that. I want you to close your eyes really quick. And I want you to just say this to yourself or out loud. I am not judgmental. Okay, just think about it, just feel that in your body. I'm not judgmental. Now keep your eyes closed. And now I want you to say, well, let's take a breath and blow that out. Now I want you to say, I am loving and accepting. I am loving and accepting. Okay, now open your eyes. Did you feel the difference in those two statements? Right? When you say judgment, it's like, ugh, right? Doesn't feel good. Loving and accepting that has a totally different vibration. So focus on what you want. Okay. Number 2, you speak in present tense as if it's happening now. Speak in present tense. We always want to think linear, right? And we always want to be like logical. And instead of saying, like, let's say you want a beach home, and instead of saying, oh, I am making amazing memories in my beautiful beach home, we go, well, that feels like a lie because I'm not. But when you are creating, if you're saying I'm going to, you're dangling the carrot, you're chasing it. So you want to be eating the carrot. And that's how we create. So if you're asking for something in the future, then you're chasing after it. And we want to call it in, right? And so you want to speak in present tense as if it's already happening. Okay. The third and final thing to consider, and this is a big one, believe me, I was like, what am I missing here? I finally figured it out, and it comes down to this one. And then third one is qualify the gap. I'll explain what that means in a moment. Qualify the gap. Okay, so let's imagine energetically. Okay, I want you to imagine an energetic, let's say a ladder. Okay, so you're here with the ladder. And this is the first rung, and you want to climb to 12, the 12th rung, and you don't step on any rungs in between. You're just going from 1 to 12. What is going to happen if you go from 1 and you're trying to reach for 12? You're going to fall, most likely. And then you try it again, you're going to fall. And eventually, you're going to give up. Okay? So some things in life, energetically speaking, they're here. They're on the floor. They're not where you want them to be. Okay? And what you're asking for is really far up here. And so your subconscious mind just says, sit down and shut up. You're being a fool. It's not going to ever happen. So this gap is too big, right? So here's the sweet spot. I promise I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands of people, and this is the sweet spot. You want your IMs, your I am statements. You want to come up with I am statements, and you want them to be exciting, but somewhat believable. Okay. So if energetically it's down here, then maybe you're going for here, like rung 4 or 5. It's exciting, but somewhat believable. So let's say you're doing, we'll use real estate again. Let's say you're doing 20 deals a month or a year, a month, 20 deals a month. I mean, some of you probably are. But well, that would be a lot. That would definitely be a lot. Okay, so let's say you're doing, I don't know, 10 deals a year, and you start saying, I am joyfully doing 60 deals a year. Your mind might go, yeah, right. That's not happening. Okay. Maybe it is exciting. I can't climb in your chest and know how it feels. These are not a one size fits all. You've got to qualify the gap. You got to know if it feels good. You want it to be exciting, but somewhat believable. So what I want you to do, this is what I encourage you to do, and you can start implementing this today. You come up with a list of 10 to 20 things you want in your life. They can be physical or non-physical things. If you want a new car, that's fine. Write that down. If you want deep soulful connection, write that down. And then you formulate them into I am statements using these 3 rules here. You say, I am joyfully driving down, or I'm excited as I drive down the car in my new, or down the road in my new Porsche. Or I'm surrounded by deep, rich friendship. And you say those every single day. And I'll give you a hint here, or a clue. There's 2 PowerPoints of the day, right when you wake up in the morning and right before you go to sleep at night. That's when the window to your subconscious mind is open. If you say those powerful I am statements in the morning, right when you wake up and right before you go to sleep at night, and then of course, the more the merrier, you can sing them, say them, read them throughout the day. That's awesome. Your life will radically, radically shift. All right, my dears. Any questions? Any questions, comments?
What would you tell somebody if like they have a bunch of decisions they're trying to make and they don't know, should I do this or should I do this? Like, and they're just in limbo and in the middle and they can't decide like to go left or right or forward or backwards. Like, how does one get unstuck with like really chopping that down and saying like, this is the best thing for me right now, or moving forward, or this is the plan?
Oh, I love this question. A lot of people get stuck in this
Mhm.
because it's hard when you're like, what do I do? I'm confused. So if I say I'm confused, okay, let's go back to the three ways you create, the 3 steps to creating. You have to uncover the current story. And the current story is I'm confused, which means you're ordering more confusion. You're never going to get out of confusion if you're saying I'm confused. I don't know which way to go. I'm stuck. You're ordering more confusion, more stuckness, more clouds. I cannot tell you. I love this question, Heather. I'm so glad you asked this. It's going to bless a lot of people's lives by listening to this, because it's miserable being in a state of confusion. I think it's more miserable than having to make a hard choice. After observing so many people, I remember going through my divorce and going, gosh, I don't want to decide. I wish somebody would just sit in front of me and tell me what to do. But you got to make the decision yourself. But you're ordering more confusion. So you go to number 2. What do you want instead? So I'll ask you, if somebody's confused, what do you think they really want, Heather?
Want clarity? They,
Boom,
yeah, they
boom,
want.
babe. Boom. It's so simple, you guys. And we make it so much harder, right? Boom. They want clarity. They want to make the right decision. So guess what they say? They create that news story from what they want, and they say, I'm clear. I am knowing exactly which way to go. I'm making the right decisions in my life. And guess what happens? I swear to you, after so many, I've had so many case studies, it happens. The clouds part. And guess what? They get crystal clear because now they're ordering clarity. I get so excited. I start talking really fast, stumbling over my words. um,
So
but
I'm going to say I'm living with clarity and intention.
boom, I love that. That's so good, Maria.
Mm.
I love it. I'm living with clarity and intention. So good. Thank you for sharing that. That is a really good one. And then you have to go to step 3 and you tell it until the story shows up. Remember, what we're doing is we're tipping the scales. So if the current story has been, I'm confused, and you've said that for a long time, and the new story is, I am living with intention and clarity, like Maria says, which I love, that's so good. You can't say it one time and then drop it. You got to keep your wand going. I am living with intention and clarity until you tip the scales, right? And it might be one day you get out of the way and you're able to call something in and that boom drops in. It might be longer than that. It might be weeks. I don't know, right? Everybody's different. I had one client who she was really stuck on this one story, and I said, okay, here's your homework. I want you to say 1,000 times today her new affirmation, 1,000 times, and I want you to text me once that's done. If you knew that all you would have to do to get that story and like that story to stick into your consciousness, and it was going to take 1,000 times, how long would it take you to say that? You'd probably have it done by the end of the day. She did. She texted me before the end of the day, right? If you knew, okay, here's my goal. This is how many times I need to say it. We don't know how many times. I don't know if 1,000 times is going to do the trick. I know it's going to help, right? It's going to get you closer to your goal. Okay. Thank you so much for these amazing steps. Do you have any other tips on how to push away the pessimism of logic, data, statistics, etc.? Okay, ooh, this is a good one, Hannah. I love it. Thanks for asking this. Yes, we get stuck in these stories, right? And so there are so many ways that we create. And so we have to become very aware of what we're focusing on. And what I mean by that, it's not just your self-talk. This is the people you're kicking it with, the stories they're telling you, the stories you're deciding to engage in and stay longer in, the content you're consuming on your phone, the things you're watching on TV, the things you're reading. These are all part of our energy field, and they all make up how we're creating. And so my husband called me the other day, and he is hilarious, and he is like, he helps me be like, he's my best case study, right? He calls me the other day and he's telling me about something gnarly going on in the world. And I go, that's too bad, honey. That's hard. And he goes, you act like you just don't even care. And I go, honey, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it, right? And I do not mean if somebody needs your help to just put your head in the sand and don't help them. I do not mean that. In fact, I have clients that I'm so proud of right now. They live in LA, and they're like packing trucks and doing food and water to people. I don't mean like just be like, live in your blissful bubble and don't care when your fellow humans need help. I don't mean that. But his was about politics, and he was yammering on about some stuff. And I was like, honey, I can't do anything about it, right? What I can do is what's within my four walls. That's what I have control over. And so, so Hannah, I would say become very aware of all of these things that you're engaging in, and things that you're reading. And yes, it's fine to look at data and statistics. That's okay. But then go to the magic, go to the, like, find people, because there are people out there. And if you need examples of them, reach out to me, because I'll tell you about them. Agents that are crushing it right now, crushing it, right? And so looking at statistics, and I'm just guessing that you're talking about real estate statistics just because of the nature of this call. And so look for, because our mind will scan, our eyes scan for proof that we're creators and proof that we're right. And so if you're looking for success, you're going to find success. If you're looking for failure, you're going to find failure, right? And so so I would just say, look for that, like find those stories and cling to those and envision, like drive down the road. Remember when we were kids, you guys, and we were so good at creating? We were so good at playing teacher and doctor and, you know, being models and famous actresses and all these things. Remember when we did that? Well, we think we stopped playing make-believe. We never did. We've always done it in our mind. We've always created in our mind. So pull into that magic, be the character you want to be. And you got to Jedi mind trick yourself. Okay. How many different IMs or stories are too many at once? Good question. Do you suggest staying within 3 or 4 stories at one time? Or is 10 stories okay to focus on at once? Okay, that's such a good question. There is something to say about like fragmenting your energy, and also honing in on like certain things that you want. Here's the thing though. We do have stories. We have so many stories. I mean, we got zillions of stories, okay? So it really comes down to you uniquely in your life, what you want right now. For me, I'll tell people to come up with 10 to 20 IMs, right? Just to get them going to where they're paying attention to what they're saying behind those IMs. Because you're saying I am all day long. several IMs. Okay. So I have them start with 10 to 20, just to get them in the habit of paying attention and claiming what they want. I look at it kind of like driving down the road of life on your journey, and your car's going. As long as your heart's beating, your car's going, whether you got your hands on the wheel or not. It's on auto. It's on auto, right? It's going. But most of us have not, if you have not been intentional with your story and what you're saying behind I am, your hands have not been on the wheel, and your car's been likely crashing into things. Sometimes it's cruising along going fine, but sometimes it's banging into things, going over flower beds, all the things. So while you say I ams daily, you're putting your hands on the wheel and telling your life where to go. You're saying, hey, let's go on this beautiful journey. This is what I want. You're claiming what you want once and for all, because you do deserve that. And I want you to look at it of not just where you're doing this to change your life, to get it to a good place. You want to be intentional and do this like brushing your teeth. You're doing it for the rest of your life, so your life stays healthy. You brush your teeth so your teeth stay healthy. You say your I am so your life stays healthy. Okay, that's a really good question. Sometimes people, though, I know for me, like full transparency, I was on my second marriage, and or am on my second marriage. I've been with my husband now for almost 20 years. But my first experience in marriage, it was so painful. And I was a single mom for 6 years. And when I finally met my husband and we settled down together, I had so many gnarly stories. And so I was really focused on my marriage. And so I honed in on like my relationship. So that was where I was at the time. So that's okay too. If there's just like 3 or 4 things you really want to hone in on, maybe you're going through something with your health and you really want to hone in on your health, or something with your children, you want to hone in on that. That's okay. For me, as my marriage started to shift and heal, then I started to broaden my scope of what I was asking for. Okay. If you cannot affect it or change it, accept it and move on. Love that. Can you please speak? Can you please repeat the steps with the I am? Yes. Okay. So I am. Number 1, focus on what you want. Number 2, speak in present tense. And number 3, you qualify the gap. And just so you all know, if you ever want to go on a journey with me, then I'd love to be your guide. So reach out to me. You're welcome, dear. Okay, any other questions? Oh, thanks, Heather.
I put her Instagram in the chat.
Mhm.
Jen, will you tell them you do one-on-one group coaching, you do events, tell everybody how to find you and what you do?
Yes. Yes. So you can, Heather put my Instagram on there. I'm on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. I mean, I could even I'll just put, just for easy, I'll just put my phone number right here in the chat too. I do one-on-one coaching, and so if you're interested in one-on-one coaching or group coaching, my group coaching is a women's group. We do meet once a week. But as far as one-on-one coaching, I have males, females that I coach. I love going on a journey with people and really diving into this stuff. I have several different coaching programs. So if you're just interested and want to chat, then reach out and we can talk, and I can see what's a good fit for you. But yeah. So and then I do annual events. I was able to have this goddess Heather speak at my annual event this year. It was so much fun. It's going to be in the fall next year, so I can let you guys know once that happens. But I also do sound baths. I actually have it's called the Year of the Snake sound bath coming up on February 2nd. there are still tickets left for that. It's in Sandy. So just so you know, it's going to be in the Sandy area. And this next year, I'm going to be talking about the energy of this next year. I'll give you a little teaser. This next year, the energy in 2025 is closure. It's things coming full circle. We're closing a chapter. We're going to have a lot. It's a very, very big year for healing and really looking at our lives and saying goodbye to things that are not honoring us. We're gonna be letting go of a lot of things individually and as a whole collective. Things are really shifting in our world, which we all know. But this year is, when I look at the energy of the year, I look at several things. I look at numerology, which I love, and I look at Chinese astrology. And then I also listen to Western astrology, and I kind of tap into all of those to do my energetic reading of the year. But I'll tell you, with numerology, you're dealing with numbers 1 through 9, and 9 is, we're in a universal year 9, which is the endings, it's closure, right? And so with Chinese astrology, we are in the year of the snake. And the snake is all about shedding its skin and getting ready for the new chapter. And that is going to be a major, major theme this year. And it's really gearing us up for next year, for 2026, which is going to be all new beginnings. So a lot of healing work, a lot of personal growth this year. And it's a year to really do the work to be ready for next year. So.
And I just want to throw out there, even if you wanted to contact Jen to have her do your numerology, it's fascinating. So she does do that. You could do a one-off session. And I can just attest that if you're struggling with anything in your life, or you're not struggling, you just want to have a better life and be your best self, she is magical and has helped me immensely, immensely, immensely. So Kim asked, do you have a book you can recommend to read more about this?
Okay, so as far as numerology goes, one of my favorite numerologists her name is Felicia Bender. I'll put her name in the chat. You can find her online just at feliciabender.com. As far as a book goes, I mean, I have several numerology books, but they're just, let's see, what do I have?
What was the book that someone gave you in the beginning when you started chatting that changed your life?
Oh yeah. So I have this numerology book, which is good. I mean, there's so many, but I love looking at feliciabender.com and getting information on there. That's a good question, Heather. So it was Ask and It Is Given by Abraham Hicks. So that's what you were talking about. Okay, book about what I spoke about today. Okay. Oh, you're saying just about law of attraction. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. So many. So yes, Ask and It Is Given is really good. Another one that I just truly, truly loved, and I'm not religious, but this person is religious, just so you know. But it doesn't matter. It totally resonated with me, and it was like pure gold, because the way that she speaks is very simple. I like simplicity. I don't like when people try to overcomplicate it. Is called Remembering Wholeness by Carol Tuttle. I don't like turning my back to you guys, but I'm gonna look at my books and see, like, trying to remind myself. I went through this phase where I just could not get enough of this information, and I was literally like the fire hose opened up and just consuming for 10 years, honestly, to try to learn what I needed to learn. And then it was like, okay, now I'm ready to, teach this stuff. And so it's kind of been in those decades. So several of these books I haven't read in a long, long time. But yeah, those are a couple good ones. Abraham Hicks is all over YouTube if you want to ever listen to her. She, yeah, very, very interesting. So, and then as far as Chinese astrology, I'm actually I'm a certified feng shui consultant. I studied under my feng shui teacher for like over a year, and that's how I learn about the year of the snake. So, anyways, yeah.
Thank you. This was
Yeah.
amazing.
You're so welcome. It's so fun. Thanks.
I love the 3 steps. I'm gonna do it. So
Yeah. And don't discount the simplicity. Like honestly, what I've found is 2 things that are the most important to change our life is keep it simple and be consistent. Don't worry about like, oh, am I doing it wrong? Just do it and be consistent and just keep going, baby, because your life will change beyond your wildest dreams. It's so exciting.
thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
Anybody have any more questions? No. We love you. I appreciate you so much for spending your hour with us.
Thank you, Jen.
Have a
you.
fantastic day.
Everybody make sure to
Yeah,
share
thanks,
stories
Heather.
with her. Hit her up on Insta. So,
Thank
all
you.
right, guys, we'll see you next month. Thanks, Jen.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
See ya. Bye.